This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Luke Sylvia and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic! What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is December 15th, 2022. Jonathan Osborne here. As always, I am joined by my co-host, Luke Sylvia. Luke, the Magic are on a 4-game win streak. What's going on?
4 of them thangs. Them thangs are thangin', and the Magic are winning. And on Friday, Jonathan, we get a chance for 5 of them. These things don't happen often around here, so I feel pretty good.
Against the Boston Celtics, so we'll talk more about that in a little bit. For those of you watching on YouTube, you may be a little confused as why Luke and I are wearing these Pokemon shirts, not Pokemon, Pokemon shirts. So last month when the Magic took on the Oklahoma City Thunder, we had a little Twitter bet with our Blue Wire family OKC affiliate, the Uncontested podcast. Essentially, the loser had to buy T-shirts from the other podcast store and rock them on the pod. So we are keeping our end of the bet here and rocking our Pokemon shirts. If you're a Pokemon fan, if you're an Oklahoma City fan at all, these shirts are really comfortable. So would recommend checking out our guys. Or if you just want to hear about the Oklahoma City Thunder, check out our guys with the OKC, the Uncontested podcast. They do a great job. We love those guys. And hopefully we'll get them next time, Luke.
Yeah, hopefully. Also, just go check out their like merch. Like go to their, I don't know off the top of my head as far as the link to their merch or anything like that. So y'all can find them on Twitter. I'm sure that they have a link to their website. Then you can find their merch. But they have
They got some pretty good stuff.
They have some good stuff. They got a lot of fun, memeable players over there.
Yeah,
and
if you guys are listening to this, give us the plug on whoever designs your stuff. We'd like to talk to them. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, folks. So like we talked about, coming up on this Friday, the Magic have a chance to go for 5 of them things. Chance to go on a 5-game winning streak against the Boston Celtics. The Magic are playing in Boston, so we are again partnering with our good friends at the Orlando Magic and Michelob Ultra for another watch party. This time, we'll be at Cavo's Bar and Kitchen, downtown Orlando. You can find it at 900 East Washington Street. Watch party starts at 7 o'clock. Tip-off is at 7:30. Planned appearance by Orlando Magic legend Nick Anderson. Orlando Magic legend Nick Anderson will also have Michelob Ultra specials, $4 16-ounce bottles of Michelob Ultra, and then $6 specials on the Orlando Magic branded Mich Ultra cans. So if you've seen those across social media and you want to get your hands on one, just come out to the Cavo's Bar and Kitchen watch party coming up this Friday at 7 o'clock and bring your $6 and you can have one of those Michelob Ultra cans yourself. Of course, given that you're of legal age to drink and to purchase one of those. Of
course.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm purchasing 2, maybe one to sip on, one I'm going to slip in the old pocket, bring it home so that I can have that forever. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but snitches get stitches, so don't tell anybody. All right. I'm in a good mood tonight. The Magic are winning, which just brightens up my life so much more than it should, Luke. Let's talk about the state of the Magic so far. So only one game that the Magic have played between our last episode and this episode. So the Magic are 1-0 on the week right now, which brings them to a record of 9-20. They have the 3rd worst record in the NBA still. They're 13th in the Eastern Conference. The Magic on the year have an offensive rating of 110.3, which ranks 24th in the league. They have a defensive rating of 114.8, which ranks 27th in the league. Their overall net rating is negative 4.4, which is 27th in the league. On the injury front, Jonathan Isaac, Chuma Okeke, Wendell Carter Jr., Jalen Suggs, Gary Harris remain out. The Magic are on a 4-game win streak, and I said Chuma Okeke. Look at that. Jonathan Isaac and Chuma Okeke, however, did practice with the team on Tuesday, went through some limited parts of practice. They were not full participants, but it is a massive step for Jonathan Isaac in particular. He's just going to be kind of back and forth depending upon whether or not the team is in town. He'll be practicing with the Lakeland Magic. If the Magic are in town and they're practicing, he'll be practicing with the Orlando Magic. So we just want to continue to see progress from Jonathan Isaac, and hopefully he will be back soon. Chuma Okeke, as he is returning to practice, hopefully he is not too far from a return, as he's been suffering with left knee soreness. In further news, RJ Hampton has been assigned to the Lakeland Magic, but this, and let's emphasize this, Luke, was a request of RJ Hampton. He wants to go and play with the Lakeland Magic. He's not getting playing time with the Orlando Magic, so he just wants to play. I mean, you can't fault the guy. Luke, what do you think about this?
Oh, this is good, man. This is RJ showing initiative. I think, this falls in line similar to what we saw from, his action and the initiative he took in Summer League. Right? Like he asked to go play Summer League from what the reports were, wanted to just get better and get reps with the guys. And obviously we know Summer League wasn't a great showing for RJ, but come regular season, he's done the most that he could with the minutes that he was given. I think at this point it's just clear that this is reality for him. He will not be getting minutes on the Orlando Magic in bulk probably ever again. So I think that this is just a decision, a wise decision by RJ and the people that are in his corner. I'm glad he's got people in his corner making these decisions, as well, helping him doing that, whether it's family, agent, friends, whatever. But yeah, you roll with the punches. That's what RJ Hampton's doing. That's what he's done all season. He deserves some type of look. I think it's a very strategic move, right? You go to the G League, at least like you're getting to showcase something. You put up a few 35-plus balls in the G League as a guy that people know you're a rotation player. They put stock into that. And all of a sudden, you're looking at a good contract, much better than you were just rotting on the end of the bench, quite frankly. So hats off to RJ. I wish him the best. I hope that he's able to ball out in Lakeland, and I'll be keeping up.
In other RJ Hampton news, we got word today that he is signed with a new agency. So he left Mike Miller's agency, Lyft, a number of weeks ago. Basically around the time that he fell out of the rotation with the Orlando Magic, and they decided not to pick up his fourth year rookie option. So he signed with CAA. So CAA is a massive agency, tons and tons of high profile athletes. We're not going to go through all of that, but it's a really good agency. I don't think it is a coincidence that he joins this new agency right around the same time that he's he's asking to go to the G League. I'm guessing he met with his new representation and they were like, hey, we're not boosting up your trade value or your market value, having you rot on the bench in Orlando. Let's get you to Lakeland, at least kind of keep you in rhythm a little bit. In the case that you are traded, you might be a little bit better prepared to contribute to your new team immediately. And if it so happens that you're on the bench for the Orlando Magic for the rest of the year, if you go down and you dominate in the G League and show people what you're capable of, you'll get more money in free agency. So I don't think it's really a big coincidence, but hats off to RJ Hampton, man. I really feel for the kid. We know in essentially every opportunity that he's been given this year in Orlando, he's played really well and been super impactful. And it's just an unfortunate situation. Anyone who still is questioning what's going on with RJ Hampton, it is not basketball related. The Magic have obviously not prioritized his development any further. He's not going to get playing time, like Luke said. RJ Hampton just wants to play basketball, and I think he's conducted himself really, really well this entire time. If you watch him, on the bench during these games, he's still very engaged. He's still rooting on his teammates. He's still joking around and laughing with them. I don't think anybody would fault RJ Hampton for, having a sour attitude or just pouting on at the end of the bench. I don't think anybody could hold that against him. And, he could come out and bash the organization and say, whatever he wants. And I don't know if you would fault him for that, but to his credit, he hasn't done that. He's been a consummate professional and teammate the entire way. And this just proves that all RJ Hampton wants to do is hoop. So hats off to RJ. Hopefully the team trades him soon. That's what I want to happen. Like if you're not going to play the kid, first of all, get something for him rather than just letting him walk in free agency if that's what you intend to do. But just let the kid go play somewhere else. Let him get an opportunity somewhere else. So yeah, we're wishing all the best in the world for RJ Hampton. Big RJ Hampton fans here. Last thing that I want to point out, just because we're getting ready to talk about this win streak. Again, the Magic are 9-20 on the season. This has maybe not been the start to the season that we had hoped for, but just to give some more perspective, we've been doing this kind of each episode now. Last season, the Magic did not get their 9th win until they were 8-39. They had 39 losses. So the Magic had 19 more losses last year before they got their 9th win compared to this year. So 19 games ahead of pace. Now, Luke did the calculations in terms of the Magic's current winning percentage. If they continue on this track for the rest of the year, Luke, what did you say? It was like 25 wins?
25 and a half wins. If, with the record they've got now, 9-20, yeah, you're on pace for that, 25 and a half wins. But as I'm sure you were going to say, like, once, I hate saying this, once we get healthy, we can expect that it will be more than the 25 and a half. So if you were someone like Jonathan did, put their money where their mouth was for the season, have that Magic, what is it, over 26 and a half total, win total, then you should be feeling pretty good right now. I think that there's no reason the Magic can't eclipse that with what we're able to do. Obviously, you're hoping that the Magic can put together some more win streaks, but on top of that, not lose so much. So I think just, a law of averages probably says the Magic are going to be able to get over that 26 and a half.
Well, let this be a lesson to everyone. If you are going to gamble, you don't gamble with the grocery money. You don't gamble with the mortgage money. You gamble with expendable income. So if I do end up losing, my $100 bet that I have on the Magic over, or yeah, my kids will still eat. So I'll be okay. But I will say, lately I am feeling better about that bet potentially cashing.
And better than you did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, 100, very much so. And I will say that not only if the Magic get healthy, but last year, they started to accumulate more wins down the stretch as the team improved. Like after the All-Star break, we know the Magic were top 10 or top 11 defensive rated team in the NBA. So hopefully we'll see another trend like that where the Magic improve and start to win some more games later in the year. All of that, of course, remains to be seen. Before we break down tonight's win over the Atlanta Hawks, we want to give a special shout out to the folks that help financially support the show, our patrons. So if you haven't heard, we do have a Patreon channel with 3 tiers of awesome benefits. Things like being able to join our Discord community, or we have monthly Zoom calls where we just kind of hang out with our Hall of Fame tier patrons. And sometimes we don't even talk about Orlando Magic basketball. Sometimes we talk about, silly stuff, and we really just have a good time and we enjoy doing that. But if you want to be part of our Patreon community, you can find us at patreon.com/the6man-show for as low as $2 a month. You can just help financially support the show and allows us to do things like this and do giveaways and awesome stuff like that. So again, patreon.com/the6man-show. And we also shout out all of our Hall of Fame tier patrons on every episode. So I'm going to go ahead and start that right now. We'll start with Court Cousins, Armin, Carson Tulo, Jonathan Borges, Norm L, Magic Player History. Our boy Jay with Magic Player History was the Is This Anything tonight on the Orlando Magic Bally Sports Florida broadcast. In my opinion, it was one of the biggest Is This Anything robbery buzzers of all time. It was fantastic. If you haven't seen that, please go back and watch the broadcast from Wednesday night's game. Shout out Julio Bailey, Gabe Gaines, Wiffle, Michael Martin, Jamel Miller, Michael Salapong, Bronze Go to Fishow, The Distract, Mo Bamba Yo Mama, Luke's face is so strange while Jonathan reads all the Patreons, who was It's Not OKK to say Okiki last week. And I'm like 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 on this episode with OKKs over Okikis. So very proud of myself. Shout out Pierre A, Migzors, Dylan Holden, Mr. Mikey, Eduardo Sanchez, Drum, Danimal, Dutto15, Bobby Skinner, Goody93, Teddy Sylvia, Eric Lopez, Fuchsia, Juan Geraldo, Bill Fulton, Edmund Ligon, Jose Esquilin, Destin for Greatness, Caleb Pete, Cannibalism, Time Mr. TV, Chad3045, Joe Rothfuss, ESPN Really Sucks, Gear 95 Shred, Junior Barus, Half Rican, and Shaheen177. Again, a big shout out to all of our patrons and our Hall of Fame tier patrons. Luke, this Hawks game was something to behold. Magic come out blazing, 50-point first quarter. You're up by, I believe it was 28 after the first quarter. You let the Hawks kind of climb back into the game in that second quarter, up 14 at the half. The Hawks get it to as close as 8 points in the second half. I have a rule. Every time I'm watching a Magic game, whether it's the Magic are trying to get back into a game or the Magic are trying to close out a game, if there is a 10-point deficit at the 5-minute mark, most of the time you can feel pretty comfortably that whoever is in the lead is going to win that game. Now, I think the Magic went from an 8-point lead to an 11-point lead with 5 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in this game. When we finally got to that point, I felt like I could exhale, and the Magic made the plays necessary down the stretch to win this game. But Luke, just kind of the roller coaster that this game was, take us through your experience and your emotions during this game.
Yeah, so obviously for the first quarter, I was at my buddy's house. We were hanging out, and with my family and his family, his parents, and we're just hanging out. He's got the Magic game on the TV for me, which I was very nice of him. And I walked in there and it was just on the TV before the game started. So I sat down. That did what any sensible Magic fan would do. Start watching the game, and I obviously
were there refreshments at this event?
No. We just went over briefly.
No,
we were there
not
for like
even
an hour
snacks.
Oh, we had pizza. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So come on. All right, you left that out.
We had pizza, and don't worry, we'll get to you, Papa John's.
Oh,
but
yes, we will.
So yeah, I was just sitting there watching the game.
Daddy John's.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't think they'll like us saying Daddy John's. It's Papa John's.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They don't
either.
want us to mess up their name.
Right. But anyway, so for the third time, I was sitting down watching the game. Right, it gets going. Magic looked pretty good. I'm pleasantly surprised. I get in the car. I get the game on my phone. I'm watching it, as my wife is driving. Don't worry, guys. On the way home, and all of a sudden, the Magic are up 15. The Magic are up 20, and then on the way home is near the end of the first quarter, and I'm like, I just want 50. Like, give me 50. And then Cole gets fouled when we have 48. Knocks down both free throws. I was going to be, quite frankly, devastated if he splits those free throws and we don't get 50. So as we know, or some of you may not, but like the Magic set the franchise record for most points in a quarter with 50. So incredible. First quarter, I was flying high, and then listen. We've seen things with this team. The Hawks put up 40 in the second quarter. Hats off to them. They knew, it's not like we're playing the Warriors here or, the Suns or the Celtics or whoever it might be. Like, we're playing the Magic. We're not going to go down here. Like, we have a chance to get back in the game. I wasn't feeling great, quite frankly. And if you weren't the slightest bit nervous after the second quarter, I don't think you have a pulse. I think you're not human. You had to have been at least somewhat frightened that the Magic were going to blow this game. And then the third, you get into the, what is it? The third, the lead at the beginning starts to dwindle a little bit. You're getting within like single digits, and I was terrified. So, yeah, I mean the Magic, thank goodness for that first quarter, holding the Hawks at 22 was super impressive. But then the rest of the way, Hawks win the second quarter, Hawks win the third quarter, and you go even in the fourth. Like, that game was frustratingly close after you're experiencing what you're experiencing in that first quarter. 28-point lead at the end of the first is not normal.
So Magic tip-offs, they're usually at the home games, at least. Like, if it's on a weeknight, they're usually set for 7 o'clock. Now, Magic games never tip off at 7 o'clock. It's usually like 7:08, 7:09, 7:10, somewhere around there. So just for a little bit of context. So this text, I sent this at 7:49. So almost 40 minutes after the game had started. So I would estimate we were a couple of minutes into the second quarter at this point, and that's when the Hawks started to kind of slowly chip away at the lead. And what I texted you both, the Magic have a 20+ lead at this point. I said it's pretty crazy that this lead doesn't feel safe. And now the Magic did not have a 30-point lead in this game. They had a 29-point lead in this game. But there have only been 7 comebacks in NBA history where a team was down by 30 or more points at any given time. The Magic were 1 point away from this. And it did feel like if there was any team capable of blowing that lead, it was the Magic. And they flirted with it throughout this game. To the Magic's credit, the defense was not great in this game, obviously. You know, the fact that the Magic give up, 124 points in this game. The defense was not fantastic by any stretch of the imagination. But when the Magic needed to get stops, the Magic got stops in this game. And to me, that was the most encouraging thing. Because for a young team who we have seen blow big leads, even at home, who have struggled to close out games against playoff teams, which the Atlanta Hawks right now are still a playoff team. The Magic, a few weeks ago might have lost this game. I don't want to say like the Magic have really turned a corner and if they've learned to win, but we are seeing an upward trend as of late. The Magic being able to close out close games, being able to win games that maybe earlier in the season they lost. Now we went through a couple week stretch there, 9-game losing streak where it was pretty rough. But lately has been super encouraging to see the Magic be able to close out these games. And we always say a win is a win is a win.
I will say, I had a good feeling, as any Magic fan should have. I wake up this morning, the Hawks are only favored by 2.5 points. Usually, any team with any type of star is favored by 7+, 6.5+. I, as a man who hasn't bet in a while, being a few months, I still keep up with Vegas. Every time there's a Magic game, I still want to know, what does Vegas think's going to happen tonight? I feel good if it's under like six points, to be honest. So I felt good this morning. I even texted right before tip-off, 7:06. All right, so a couple minutes before tip. I said, it's going to be wild when the Magic handing the Hawks this L is going to be what makes Trey request that trade. I felt good.
I felt good. Bald.
Yeah,
Trey.
Right. I'm not usually an optimist. So for me to feel good going into a game with the featuring the Magic, it's a good sign. And then we put up 50 in the first quarter. I didn't know how good it was going to be, but man, I there's a lot to take away from this game, man. Like you said, you did things that this team probably doesn't do a couple weeks ago. We knew it, especially early on, right? The Magic had such a small point differential between them and other teams. They just couldn't close out games. Magic closed out the game. There was a point when there was 6 minutes left in the game, I think, because I made a mental note. 6-point game, or 6 minutes left in the game. I believe the Magic were down 13. But anyway, Trey pulls up for like a quick trigger 3.
You mean up 13?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, up 13. Trey pulls up for a quick trigger 3, and in my head, I'm like, this would honestly become the beginning of the end for me. Like, I know that this game is how it's going to end. Thankfully, Trey misses it. They actually get the offensive rebound, probably a long rebound, and they miss the 3 from the left wing. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. And then I think right after that, JT and David, one of them, said, well, yeah, the Magic dodged a bullet there. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Like, I felt that was definitely the case. I thought it was going downhill if Trey hits that 3. So, but nonetheless, team closed out the game. And also, did you see the Markelle Fultz graphic before, or like, I don't know if it was before the game started or at the very beginning, but the graphic about the Magic's record with and without Fultz over the years?
Pretty close to 500, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So, right, with him, right. So, I'm gonna try to find this real quick, Jonathan, okay? I'm gonna try to find it because without Markelle Fultz, the record, I knew it was bad, but it is jarring.
Yeah.
With Markelle, since the 2019-20 season, the Magic have gone 41 and 38. And without Markelle Fultz, 44 and 133. Now, I know there's context to be had throughout those seasons, but
I don't know. That's anything.
Yeah, Markelle is obviously imperative to this team, even when he is not filling up a stat sheet, right? You feel like you see Markelle's vision. We know Markelle's vision. It feels like he should average more assists than he does. I don't know what he is right now, but I'm assuming it's probably like 5-5 or something like that. But you just always feel like he could be averaging more, should be average more. So
This season,
what is he at?
4.1.
4.1. See, that's what I'm saying. But it feels like vision wise, I know that he's not been awesome since he's been back, but the Magic have been winning games. It's enough. Like I talked about with
He's
Wendell,
picking
man.
it up lately.
Well, of course. But like I talked about with Wendell in the last episode, it's not just a body you brought back. It's a body that honestly translates into wins. I do think Markelle Fultz is a winner, despite like the meme that people have tried to make Markelle Fultz at this point in his career. But it's like I do think he's a winner. I think that he obviously translates to wins. So it's just been good to have him back running the offense at times. He's making hustle plays early on in the game. He's diving on the floor, flicking it to Mo Wagner to start the fast break. Like there's no guarantee that happens with another guard on our team like in that moment. But Markelle 100 times out of 100 is making that play. So it's great to have him back, regardless of what stat sheets even show.
Yeah, it definitely is great to have Markelle Fultz back in the lineup. Remember when we would talk about like as soon as Markelle Fultz comes back, like we thought it was going to take time for him to work back into the starting lineup because they were going to keep him on like a heavy minutes restriction. But people were like, "Oh no, what about Jalen? What about Cole?" And we're like, no, like Markelle is the starting point guard for this team, and like literally, like he comes back, and the Magic have now won 4 in a row. I think he's been back for like 8 or 9 games, something like that. So like his impact on, I don't even want to say it's his impact on winning. It's his impact on not losing. Like it's just settling down the offense, getting guys in the right spot, not turning the ball over. Like Markelle is just awesome.
Yeah, big Markelle guy. In these 4 games, Jonathan, he's averaged 10 points, roughly 9.8, 5.5 assists, and 3.3 rebounds in this 4-game win streak. 60%
What's he shooting from the 3-point line, by the way?
60.
I mean, it's not sustainable, but it's been fun.
In this win streak, that it was 60 on the season. Basketball Reference hasn't updated, so whatever. But 45.5 is what he's shooting
Still
on the season.
Good. I mean, he's not
on
gonna,
like 1.5
hang
attempts
around there, but man, seeing him pull up with confidence and it going in is just like,
to be honest,
if he could.
To be honest, man, at 1.5 attempts a game, why? Like, how much is that going to drop? Like, if he didn't shoot any tonight. He shot 2 last game, missed both. He went 3 for 3 against Toronto. He didn't shoot any against the Clippers. There's going to be nights where Markelle Fultz doesn't attempt a 3-pointer. Then there's going to be nights where things are maybe getting going for him, like they were in that game from 3 against Toronto, where he shoots 3 and makes all 3. I just think that it's not super outlandish to think that Markelle on 1.5 attempts could even shoot 38. I would take. Obviously, it might not stay at 45.5 like you said, but I do think that he could get to a point where he's shooting 38% from 3 on low volume. Last year, though,
are you high?
Why?
Last year, 0.9 attempts. The year before that, 2. The year before that, 2. Like so far, he's a career 27% 3-point shooter. Like,
and he has gotten better.
I need to see a bit
Jonathan,
more before we go from like Markelle cannot shoot threes to all of a sudden now he's a 38% 3-point shooter.
On 1.5 attempts?
No, if you're shooting anywhere near 38% up, I need to see an uptick in volume. I don't think there's any possible chance he shoots 38% on the year. It's not happening. No way.
We'll tab it. I will say if there's an uptick, no. But if he's shooting 1.5,
even if he holds at the current attempts, there's no way.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll have to make some kind of gentleman's wager on this. There's no way. There's no way. Okay. I will pass out if he shoots 38% for the year.
That's fine.
There's no way.
All right.
I love that you're the optimist in this situation because this is typically not the case. Usually the roles are reversed.
I want
nothing more than for Markelle to become University of Washington Markelle Fultz, because like all of a sudden, like now you've got Franz, you got Paolo, you got Bol, you got actualized number 1 overall pick Markelle Fultz. Like First of all, things like that don't happen to the Orlando Magic, and I'm glad that he's taking the shots, but I would be so happy to be wrong about this. I hope you understand that. I am so far from even being hopeful about that.
He's virtually not taking, like, right now, like I said, 1.5
but
roughly
he
a game.
Never has.
I know. But I am just saying, like, he's only shot, I'm counting real quick, 5, 6, 9, 11 threes this year. So I understand that it doesn't seem sustainable. I just think he's better. I think he's a better.
He might be.
I think he's a better shooter than he was.
I would be thrilled with above 30%. Like, to me,
odds.
That's a win.
Of course. Well, you and I have talked about, right? Like, we've said it. We've set the benchmark before, which is like, if Markelle can be a 35% 3-point shooter,
yeah, that would be.
Then automatically your spacing increases, along with still having the playmaking abilities of a Markelle Fultz. And if he, can reel in his finishing at the rim, league's in trouble. I mean, I don't think Markelle's ever going to be an all-star, okay? But I think he's a great piece. He's, like I said, his stuff that he does for this team to translate to wins doesn't always show up on a stat sheet. But he's
you don't
there.
have to sell me on Markelle Fultz. The 38%. I'm like, wait a minute.
No, I'm talking to the listeners here. I know, like I said, usually roles are reversed. You're the optimist, especially about Markelle Fultz. But yeah. So I think, as far as Markelle goes,
the
man,
right here. I was wearing it.
You
in
got the jersey.
Post-game video tonight.
That white jersey.
Markelle, I got to toss it off to the side.
That jersey's so clean.
Yeah,
but
I got to fix that actually.
We'll see, right? Like, I understand stats are way against me, and in terms of how many he's only shot 11 threes this year. But I'm in my optimism during a 4-game Magic win streak. Markelle Fultz 38% this year from 3.
Markelle Fultz is amazing. I'm on board with Markelle Fultz, but we'll see. Like I said, I won't
be shocked if I'm wrong, to be fair, but that's just what I'm saying.
I'm going to do the Charles Barkley. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. Folks, do not forget now for the 4th straight win. I hope you guys are packing on the pounds thanks to the Papa John's pizza, baby. Some alliteration. Mm-hmm. Take that with you. Tomorrow you get 50% off, or today as you're listening to this, rather. But every day after Orlando Magic victories, you get 50% off your online order of Papa John's with code MAGICWIN. Don't forget, folks, you don't have to be in Orlando to redeem that code. You can be up to 150 miles from Orlando as long as you are further than 75 miles from that terrible trash city to the south. Again, 50% off your online order tomorrow or tonight, whenever you're listening to this. If you're listening to this 2 years in the future, if the Magic won last night, hopefully the Papa John's promotion is still going, and you can get 50% off your online order with code MAGICWIN. Make sure you get that, folks. It's good stuff, man. I actually really, really, really love Papa John's. I'm never upset to get a Magic win and get me some Papa John's. Again, the 3-cheese blend with the New York style crust, our boy JD put me onto that, and I've gotten it every single time. I get like 6 or 7 of the garlic sauces because I can go through a whole garlic sauce in one slice of pizza. And you got to eat the peppercini. You're not a man if you don't eat the peppercini. That's all I got to say about that. Luke, let's talk more about this win streak in depth. So, again, the Magic have now won 4 straight games. This is the first 4-game win streak since the start of the 2020-2021 season, where the Magic started 4-0. We're looking ahead to Friday already, right? We're looking for 5 of them things. The last 5-game win streak for the Orlando Magic was in 2020. It spanned from March 6th through March 10th. And then it picked back up July 31st to August 2nd. So that was the last 3 games of the regular season before the COVID shutdown. And then into the bubble, the Magic won their first 2 regular season games, July 31st and then August 2nd. August 2nd, the last time the Magic won 5 games in a row, that August 2nd game was against the Sacramento Kings. And you all might remember that game as the game that Jonathan Isaac tore his ACL. So if the Magic win on Friday against the Boston Celtics, it will be the first time the Magic have won 5 games in a row since Jonathan Isaac tore his ACL. Just to put it into some perspective, because we know that it feels like it has been forever since the Magic have had Jonathan Isaac on the floor, and it's been forever since they've won 5 straight games. So it would be a massive deal before that season, though, because I asked Luke, I was like, does that really count? Because it was like 3 games, and then they had this, 3-4 month break, and then they played again. Luke said it counts, but before that streak, the last 5-game winning streak was in the 2018-2019 season, spanning March 14th to March 26th. It was actually a 6-game win streak. If you remember, the 6th game in that win streak was against the Miami Heat in Miami. It was the game that the Miami Heat retired Chris Bosh's jersey. I think the Magic were down by like 18 or 19 at some point in that first half, came back to win that game and spoiled the night of Chris Bosh's retirement. You also might remember that was the first time the Magic made the playoffs in 7 years, finishing the season 22-9. So that was a super magical, pun intended, season. So, if the Magic are able to string another win or 2 wins together, it would be really the most regular season success the Magic have had in a long, long time. So although you do have a pretty daunting opponent coming up in the Boston Celtics, who are the number 1 team in the NBA right now, which makes it to me even more exciting. Luke is like, I wish we were playing like, Detroit or something like that. But I'm excited to see these guys kind of step up, for the challenge here. But Luke, I've done a little deep dive here just in terms of, the Magic's rankings and different statistics over this 4-game winning streak. So the last 4 games, the Magic are 3rd in the league in defensive rating, or offensive rating rather. They're 11th in defensive rating, 5th in overall net rating, 5th in rebound percentage, 4th in true shooting percentage, 7th in points per game, 6th in 3-point percentage. They're shooting 39.7% from behind the arc during this stretch. They're 3rd in free throw rate, Luke. The Magic, in every facet of basketball over the course of the last 4 games, are playing pretty well.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, listen, like, we have just been saying this over and over. Just wait till we get our guys back. And we are so freaking close to getting them all back, it feels like. Aside from, we don't really know where Jalen sits, Wendell, whatever. But
Jalen was celebrating on the sideline tonight. The ankle was looking pretty good, I gotta say.
Yeah, well, I hope so. But yeah, man, we're doing great things in terms of what we have been able to do during this win streak. I also did a little digging. Okay, I did a little digging just on averages, right? Not much digging, just slight digging. But Franz Wagner, who really came into his own when Paolo Banchero was out, and he had to really take the reins. If you guys remember, he played whatever there was, like 5, 6, 7 games without Paolo. Let me just pull it up here. Let's see. Franz, he averaged 21 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists in 7 games without Paolo this season. And then in this win streak, man, he's just taken it up another level in terms of his points. He's had to do a little less, facilitating since Paolo's been back, since Markelle is here now, Cole's back, those sort of things. So he's upticked in points, and 24 points a game in this win streak, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Paolo Banchero, 21.5 points, 7 rebounds, 4.3 assists in these 4 games, man. Like, and by the way, the craziest part about Franz so far is that he's taking 5 threes a game in this win streak, and he is shooting 42.9% from 3. This team is just checking all the boxes. They're doing the right things. They're winning the games regardless of how good or ugly they are. They've just shown a lot of growth.
Yeah, they've been great. I mean, like you mentioned, Paolo's been awesome. Franz has been awesome. Cole has been really good as of late. Mo Bamba has been really good as of late. We've talked about this a million times, right? I know I'm sick of saying it, so I know you guys are sick of hearing it. Like, the Magic just need to get healthy. And it feels like we're getting closer, but at the same time, like, guys like Jalen, Wendell, like you said, we still don't really know where they're at. But Chuma, it looks like he's going to be back soon, hopefully. Jonathan Isaac looks to be trending in that direction. Gary Harris, I would assume, should be starting to trend that direction as well. But yeah, it's just it's a matter of them getting healthy. But to me, the most encouraging thing, over the last 4 games has just been, apart from the turnovers, which is just like, I don't know when that's going to get fixed. The Magic have still been, I think, bottom 5 in the league in terms of turnovers, even during this 4-game winning streak. Like they're still turning the ball over a ton, but the Magic are doing everything else relatively well. Like, I still think the defense has another level to get to, and they've been 11th in defensive rating. Like, they were fantastic in the first quarter tonight, and then they were pretty bad the second, third, and fourth quarter. The Hawks shot over 50% in the second, third, and fourth quarter tonight. So you're still missing Jonathan Isaac. You're still missing Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter Jr., Gary Harris. I would argue those are probably 4 of our top 5 or 6 defenders on the team. And those guys are all going to be getting rotation minutes when they come back. This team fully healthy, like, to me, top 10 defensive rating should be the floor. Like, we should not be any worse than that. And sure, it was great tonight. You score 135 points. It's amazing. Magic, they ain't going to do that every single night. 5th or 4th in true shooting percentage over the last 4 games. I don't think that's sustainable. 6th in 3-point percentage over the last 4 games. I don't think that's sustainable. But 5th in rebound percentage, that's sustainable. 3rd in free throw rate. Why is that so hard for me to say? We've seen that sustained over the course of the entire season. They've been in the top 10 free throw rate all season long. 11th in defensive rating. Like, these are the things that the Magic need to hone in on and focus and do every single night. And they're going to have chances to win these games. Are they going to go on a crazy run and get into the upper 30s or into even 40s in terms of win total? I don't think that's probably possible or likely at this point. It's possible, but it's certainly not incredibly likely at this point. But over the last 4 games, it's like, all right, we had this 9-game winning streak, and now we're figuring out how to play. Now, what I'm waiting for, a big test like this. You got 2 games against the Boston Celtics. The Magic are due for a loss. Like, let's just call it what it is. I do think they can win on Friday. Don't mistake what I'm saying. But if the Magic get blown out on Friday, what I'll be looking for is, how do they respond on Sunday? And then right after that, then you've got the Hawks again. So you just had a really good performance against the Hawks. You did it against the Raptors twice in a row. Can you beat the Hawks again? Can you have 2 good performances against the Boston Celtics? And all of a sudden, then you've got Houston, San Antonio, the Lakers, the Pistons, who are unfortunately without Cade for the rest of the year, and then the Washington Wizards and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, you've got a really winnable stretch of games coming up. So for me, it's like, all right, you guys took your medicine. You had a 9-game losing streak. Over the last 4 games, it seems like you've kind of figured out what you need to do to win these games. We need to see that, like, continuing. Even though it's a super young team, I think they are too talented, and they went through this all of last season, so it's not like they're just kind of figuring this out right now. Yet you lost 60 games last year. I want to see actual growth at this time in the season from the Magic. I don't want to look back 2 months from now and be like, man, that 4-game winning streak was a fluke. Even if they don't continue to win games, I want to see evidence that they really learned something during that 9-game losing streak, and they've learned things from this 4-game winning streak. I want to see steady improvement for the rest of the season for the Orlando Magic. Let's recalibrate our expectations. We were playing hopefuls. I don't know if that's going to happen. It would take a really special run. I think this team has that in them. I don't know that they're going to get there. But for me, the expectation for the rest of the season is we need to be competitive. We cannot see another 9-game losing streak. We cannot see this team playing with a lack of energy and a lack of focus. We can't see them, let go of the rope in consecutive games again. Let's just learn from that losing streak, learn from this winning streak, and let's just keep building on that the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I want Jonathan to touch on a player that has, played well tonight, played well last game as well, before that, and that is Mo Bamba. I went against Toronto, right? Right now, Mo Bamba is playing 19 minutes per game. He's averaging, on this win streak, 10 points, 9.8 points, 8.3 rebounds, 1.5 blocks in 19 minutes. We are getting kind of, in the terms of the rebounds and the blocks, back to where we were a couple seasons ago when we were mad that Cliff wasn't getting him minutes in terms of like his per 36, right? Like I'm sure his per 36 is through the roof right now, right? Like at that point you can double those stats and that's his per 36. All that to say, I went and watched kind of just every bucket that he had and every key highlight that he had against Toronto the second time. And when he had his 18 points in 23 minutes, he was 6 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 2 from 3, had 2 blocks, just seemed to be doing everything right and was in the right spots, for most of that game. Basically what I came to the conclusion of is like he is having to play a lot of the 5, right? Like mainly the 5 right now with Wendell out. And it has been the best thing for him and for this team in terms of playing the 5. You don't have to watch him sit at the 3-point line. And if you do, it's mainly like against Toronto, it was on trailing threes pretty much coming out of, basically in transition, a trail behind 3. And he hit both of them, I believe, against Toronto. And everything else, man, was cutting to the basket, being the roll man. And that was it. Like, and getting offensive boards and putbacks. If Mo Bamba can do that, that's all I ask of him. Like, literally all I ask of him. I don't want him to sit out there on the corner because guess what? On corner threes this year, he's 0 for 6. And there's a website that we've been using, Jonathan, just for, whether we're playing around with it or talking about it on the show, referring to their numbers, is bucketlist.fans. I encourage you guys to go in there, poke around a little bit with Magic players, create your own opinions about these Magic players and, whatever it might be, rather than just what you're thinking, just like not without doing any research about them. But Mo Bamba on above the break threes this year is 43%. He's 0 of 6 in the corner. And that's all per, bucketlist.fans. But on, like I said, in that game against Toronto, that second game, he was doing everything right. He got to the free throw line 5 times. Like, it's just been that was an enjoyable Mo Bamba to watch. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you can still catch him standing around, but I liked what I saw from that role of Mo Bamba. Yeah, against the Hawks, 18 minutes, 11 points, shoots 4 threes, but makes 2 of them, right? 50%. We know that Mo has it in him to be a good 3-point shooter. I just want him to maximize his time on the court by being that guy that can roll, that can cut, that will be on the boards. I don't have to wonder if he's going to be boxing out trying to get a rebound, create a second chance on offense. But I've been seeing it the last couple games. And honestly, in that game, the first game against Toronto where he played 17 minutes, only 2 points. He couldn't get it going. Like, he was 1 for 4, but he had 13 rebounds. So he knew, okay, if I'm not going to be doing, creating offense, I might as well be creating second chances for my team, getting boards, preventing second chances for the opposing team. I just really enjoy what I've seen from Mo Bamba, specifically these last 3 games, but he has been honestly pretty pivotal during this stretch.
So we've had this conversation about Mo Bamba at least 20, 30 times over the course of the last few years. The issue with Mo Bamba is just always going to be the consistency for me. We know he's super talented. He can shoot the ball. He can block shots. When he's engaged, he can be a good rim runner. The hands leave a little bit to be desired. Sometimes even if he's on the post, he'll just kind of fumble the ball out of bounds, or if there is a lob, he doesn't always come down with it. But he's a lob threat. Back to the basket, probably never going to be that kind of guy. But Mo Bamba has all the talent in the world. It's just about doing it on a consistent basis. And there are Mo Bamba defenders out there. Like, there are people that through everything have always been like, no, Mo is good. Like, Mo is really good. You're just not seeing it. I've always said Mo Bamba is talented, but the consistency for one reason or another, for me, if you've gone, what is this now? His 5th season in the league, I believe. Now, he had some injuries to start his career, but the last couple of years especially, he's gotten opportunities to show what he can do, and he has on occasion. That's why when I jokingly tweet out when he's playing well, oh, look, it's the monthly good Mo Bamba game, that's a half joke. We do have these, we'll go weeks at a time where Mo Bamba is just kind of invisible on the floor, and then all of a sudden he'll hit 4 threes, he'll have 10 rebounds and 3 blocks, and he'll look amazing. But we don't see it frequently enough. Some people are like, oh, well, he's now just playing around good players. No, effort is one thing that you can control on a nightly basis, and we don't always see that from Mo Bamba. How many times have we been watching a game and Mo Bamba's getting beat down the floor for the 3rd time tonight, and their center is getting an open layup? We've seen that a million times. I believe in Mo Bamba's talent. If Mo Bamba ever figures out how to give 110% on a nightly basis, I mean, the ceiling might be the roof for that kid. He is what a lot of teams are looking for out of a center. Can block shots, can run to the rim, can shoot threes, can help space the floor. Mo Bamba can be really good if he ever can figure that out. But to me, I'm just all right, he's a career backup at this point. And some people don't agree with that, but I mean, but he has been great recently. I've been trying to give him his flowers. He has been great recently.
Yeah, I'm just out on him being a 4, to be completely honest. He gets into a game that's it's not good. He hangs out of the 3-point line. That's all he does.
People say that he was a 4 last year. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, you are correct. I'm speaking out of my butt crack right now. Yeah, nice. He's not a 4. They were trying to make him a 4 last year. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You are right. I'm speaking out of my blowhole.
You're good. So I mean, this year, mid-range, he's 4 of 12, 33%. Not going to cut it. In the paint, in the non-restricted area, he's 1 for 7. There's just shots that he takes that just don't make sense. But unsurprisingly, he shoots a high percentage in the restricted area. He just doesn't have a post game, man. He doesn't have a post game, and that's what he really lacks for him to be a true night in, night out 5. But all that to say, I'm out on him being a 4. I'm tired of watching him drift on the 3-point line. I am in full support of him taking trailing threes like we saw Vooch take a lot of. He's great at those, right? Like I said, above the break threes, he's shooting 44% from the center. It's even better. He has what it takes to be a 5. Like you said, his talent is there, but it also has to be that the team puts him in a situation to succeed. And I don't mind him playing 17, 18 minutes a game if it is strictly in this role. It's going to be hard when Wendell gets back. I mean, I guess, are you going to put Moritz over Mo? I mean, he's been great too.
I'm still there. I'm still,
of course,
Moritz over Mo.
And Moritz Wagner has averaged 13.5 points, 6 rebounds, an assist and a half in this win streak. So he has been just as, if not more, pivotal than Mo Bamba has been. So I'm fully on board with that as well. But that's what I'm saying is eventually you're just going to run out of runway. Mo Bamba just simply doesn't have a spot on the team type of thing. But moving forward, not just with the Magic, I hope in this league that he can develop in a post game, and I hope that he can play the 5, because when he, like I said, when he's the roll man, when he's cutting, when he's going for those second chance points via offensive rebounds and just trail threes, he's great. He's what you need in a backup center, and I think that he can be that.
Luke, let's look at the games of the rest of the week here. So coming up on Friday, the Magic will be in Boston to take on the Celtics. That game tips off at 7:30 Eastern time. Then on Sunday, you're staying in Boston for a little mini baseball series here. You're playing the Celtics again on Sunday, but this time you got a 3 o'clock tip-off on Sunday, a nice little early tip-off. I know we will appreciate that, having to record the podcast Sunday evening. So the Celtics played the Lakers on Tuesday night. I'm guessing they flew back to Boston today. So they'll be sitting in Boston on Thursday, waiting to play us on Friday. So they are going to be a little bit more rested than the Magic. But yeah, this is a big test for the Orlando Magic. The Boston Celtics, last I checked, were still the best team in the league, sitting at 22-7. It's crazy as good as the Celtics have been that the Milwaukee Bucks are right behind them at 20-7. it just speaks to how good the top of the Eastern Conference is. But this is going to be the Magic's biggest test of the season. This is the best team they've played all year. They almost beat them, the Magic's home opener to start the season, but this time you'll be on their turf, a hostile environment in Boston. And you're one of the hottest teams in the league right now. You're coming off of a big win over a playoff team. And I'm just really looking forward to see how the Magic take advantage of this opportunity. You beat Boston in Boston. I know this season is kind of improving and we're feeling a little bit better, but you have a good showing in Boston on this weekend trip here. That is the type of thing that can turn a season around for a team. So obviously we're excited about the watch party. We'll talk more about that before we end the show here. But a massive opportunity. I'm like, this is a tall task for the Magic. Like, the Magic should go 0-2 on this trip. But if you have a chance, you do have a chance to win these games. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing how the Magic come out of the gate Friday night.
Well, like you said, and like we've emphasized early on in the show, the Magic have been doing the things that they haven't been able to do in the past so far, especially on this win streak. And the next thing you got to do is turn around that road record. Magic are 1-11 on the road. The only win coming against the Chicago Bulls, obviously, as we know, on that Jalen Suggs game winner.
Which happened to be at another watch party. We're having a watch party for this Friday night game.
Could be another magical.
I'm not saying it's a coincidence, but we'll see.
But all that to say, you're 1-11 on the road at the end of the day. Your games on the road, the final scores just aren't particularly close. 121-108 against Toronto, 107-96 against Cleveland. You lose by 7 to Brooklyn. Like,
how many of those came during that 9-game losing streak?
It feels like, so you beat the Bulls, right? And then after that, you don't win again for that streak on the road, especially. It's 5 games. 5 of those 12 games, essentially total games played on the road, came during that losing streak.
So if you take that away, the Magic are 1-6.
Yes, if you take that away, the Magic are 1-6 on the road this year. So
looking just a little bit deeper into that, I know we're getting ready to sign off here. So 109-102. No, that was at home. Sorry. Let's see here. So at Detroit, 113-109. At Atlanta, 108-98. At New York, 115-102. At Cleveland, 103-92. At Dallas, 114-105. At Oklahoma City, 116-108. And then you get into some of those ugly losses and that big losing streak. One of those was also that last second loss to the Indiana Pacers. So, yeah, no secret. The Magic just have not been good on the road. But this is an opportunity to start to turn that around, perhaps.
Right. Yeah, of course. But we'll see. I hope. And I hope that you guys are there. If you're local to Orlando, if you're within driving distance, I hope you're there. And I hope we get to celebrate. Regardless, it'll be a good time. Mick Ultra does, great things, typically deals, those sort of things. And, Nick Anderson will be there. So might as well come out, if for nothing else, get yourself a cheap beer and shake hands with the great Nick Anderson.
That and the sandwiches at Cavo's are they look really good on that menu. I can't lie. I'm looking forward to the food on Friday night. But like Luke mentioned, we'll be at Cavo's Bar and Kitchen on Friday night starting at 7 o'clock for our watch party. Tip-off is at 7:30. Make sure you get there early because if we are anticipating a good turnout, the place will be packed and bumping pretty soon. Like Luke mentioned, we are scheduled to have an appearance from Orlando Magic legend Nick Anderson. There will be Michelob Ultra specials, $4 16-ounce bottles and $6 Orlando Magic Michelob Ultra cans. So make sure that you guys come out and get one of those. It's going to be a great time. Really looking forward to that. Hope that you guys will come out. That is going to do it for us for this episode. For Luke Sylvia, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You guys have been listening to The Sixth Man Show. We will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!